I turned on my television in the room this morning, and he was on television, and there was an actress, don't know her name, who had no voice. And was that last year?
Oh yes, yeah. She was one of the actresses from Ashley Lawrence.
Ashley Lawrence.
From
And she had no
Hellraiser.
voice, and you didn't know what the hell to do. He stood there like a deer in the headlights. It was very funny. Anyway, yes.
Now, well, first, I just want to say that it's so just surreal. I grew up watching you, and here you were watching me. You know, I grew up watching your movies. I'm such a big fan. And you've lost your voice. Okay, so I'll try to keep this yes or no, and then you can just. I think I'm more prepared for that. Okay. So your filmography really reads like a top 10 top 20 greatest movies of all time. Most of which, I don't know about everybody else but myself, I grew up playing Three Amigos. I used to play Thriller. I would hide under a pile of leaves with a skeleton mask. And 29. That explains a lot. Can you expand on that, please?
Can I expand on that? What year were you born?
1980.
All right. So, when did Three Amigos come out?
Three Amigos, 80, 87, 88?
I actually don't know.
80.
Okay,
Does it say? Well, anyways, me and my cousin used to always do the thing with the little cough and the stuff. Anyways, so I heard you mention in the Q&A yesterday that you were disappointed that Three Amigos was the only Western you've ever gotten to shoot.
As a director, yeah, I've worked on a lot of Westerns.
Yes.
I worked on Once Upon a Time in the West, which is a really great film, Sergio Leone movie made in Spain. It's a wonderful movie. You ever seen it?
No, not as of yet, but I will go home tonight and I will track it down.
Have you ever seen Once Upon a Time in the West?
Long time ago.
What a fucking bunch of losers you are. Have you ever seen Once Upon a Time in the West? All right. Okay, gang. Once Upon a Time in the West. Henry Fonda, Jason Robards, Charles Bronson, Claudia Cardinale, let's see who's in it.
Jack Palance?
No, I said it wrong. It's Jack Elam and Woody Strode. It's a 10. It's one of the great movies ever made. I'm not kidding. And an incredibly brilliant score by Eric. What's his name? Ennio Morricone. And it's really, seriously, one of the best movies ever, and you should check it out.
I definitely will.
Good.
I will go. I will
make
run
sure
out
you
after
get
this.
a letterbox.
Of course, there's no other way to watch a film, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, what if it's 185?
I will tape up the top and bottom of my television set and pretend. So I was doing some research, and I came across something that said that you originally came up with the idea for American Werewolf in London while you were in Yugoslavia. Was that while you were shooting Kelly's Heroes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And when was it during the shooting time? Did you go, I got this brilliant idea for a werewolf movie? Or
you know, if you buy the new DVD, it has a documentary on it made by that guy. Here, pan over to him. Paul, wave at her. He made a documentary called Beware the Moon, which is actually longer than American Werewolf in London, and it's everything you wanted to know. In fact, it's too much information about the movie. He interviewed the entire cast and crew and went to locations, and it's amazing. I'm serious.
Yeah.
It's great to see.
And it's available now.
Available now at your local, wherever you buy DVDs.
Okay.
Or Amazon.com. In fact, give me $30.
Okay.
No. But you should go. It's really good. Anyway, yes, I saw a gypsy burial that was very bizarre, and you can see the documentary and hear the whole story, but
Yeah.
they were taking precautions so the body didn't dig itself up and cause trouble. So I thought, it's 1969, I was 18, we just landed a man on the moon, and these guys are worried about zombies. And then I thought, okay, what happens if the zombie actually got up and walked toward me? How would I react to it?
And then it turned into a werewolf?
No, I just thought, the premise of Werewolf, my premise was to make a fantasy, any film, doesn't matter what genre, in any film you create what's called suspension of disbelief.
Yes.
In order to allow it, whatever's happening, for the audience to accept it. And I was thinking, okay, what happens when, like how many slasher movies have you seen where the audience, it's really good to see those movies with a black house and black audience, because they go, don't go in there, bitch, you know, they yell and stuff. And it's true, because how many times you see a movie where you think, why don't you call the police? You know, don't go in that door, you know, stuff like that. So I wanted to make a totally realistic movie confronting the impossible. I mean, how do you deal with the impossible when it's standing in front of you? How do you deal with it? And so that evolved into An American Werewolf in London.
And did you, like, in my opinion, it's the greatest werewolf movie ever made. Did you ever think that it would turn into the greatest werewolf movie ever made, in some people's opinion?
No. I mean, when you make a movie, the question that people ask all the time that I don't get, if people say things like, when you were making Animal House, did you know? Or you're making Thriller, did you know? The answer is no, you don't know anything.
You don't, so you never get a feeling or
well, there's stuff I think, well, like at Three Amigos, I really enjoyed making and I loved the movie, but it was not a big hit. You know, so it depends. Innocent Blood. I'm kind of shocked I didn't get anything to sign from Innocent Blood here. That's another horror picture I made.
Yeah.
You know, that people don't know. So, but then you make other movies, you know, Trading Places or The Blues Brothers, or there's so many movies that, Kentucky Fried Movie, like really silly movies that mean a lot to people. So, what can I say?
Yeah. Now, speaking of Blues Brothers, was that the first time you had ever done a movie with big musical numbers?
Yeah, it was my third movie.
Well,
wait,
well,
no,
I mean,
it wasn't.
even
I
like,
lied.
What,
It's my fourth movie.
even like whether if you were just on the set working, you know, as a grip or a...
Oh no, I worked on movies. Yeah, I had worked on not real. Well, come to think of it, I had worked, but I couldn't tell you on what. I worked on something where there was I don't know what the hell it was. Where there was a musical number. I did a stunt. I went through a window, but I don't know what it was. Must have made quite an impression, I guess.
And so I take it then it didn't really prepare you for doing something of that scale.
It's the scale of a project doesn't affect the director's job. The director's job is exactly the same if it's a $200 million movie or a $50,000 movie. The director's job is put the camera there and you guys do this. And, you know, it's put the camera there and you 10,000 guys do this, or you 3 guys do this. But the job is exactly the same. And that's true in all genres, it's the same. All genres, all budgets, it's the same job. So I'm fascinated when people ask questions like that.
Well, I'm glad I could fascinate you.
No, because think about it. What would you do, doing this now, interviewing me? What would you do different if this was CBS?
If this was CBS, I'd go...
Aside having much better makeup.
Yeah, differently, I guess I would have to do the same thing and go, I hope they don't fire me tomorrow.
No, but seriously, it's the same job. You know, like acting in a big movie or a little movie, it's the same job.
Now, you mentioned doing a stunt in a movie. I was surprised to find out that you did stunt work. You got stabbed by Toshiro Mifune. And,
yeah, he put a sword through me. Yeah,
and
in
what
Red
was it,
Sun.
Red Sun.
Another Western, but that one's not so good.
I did see that one though.
Yeah, you see the bad Westerns.
No,
What's wrong
but
with you?
I love that samurai going through the West. You know.
I'll tell you a good Toshiro Mifune story.
Okay.
Toshiro Mifune was Akira Kurosawa's favorite actor. And in the 50s and 60s, the two of them made, especially in the 50s, unbelievably great films. There's a film called Throne of Blood. Have you seen that?
I've seen that, yes.
Excellent. It's a samurai Macbeth. It's one of the best movies ever made. It's Shakespeare, but done samurai. And that's Toshiro. And Rashomon with Toshiro. And he did a whole bunch of movies for Kurosawa, and he's this incredible Yojimbo, you know, incredible samurai guy. So I'm excited to meet him. We're outside Madrid on this terrible movie, Red Sun, and I'm going, Toshiro Mifune's coming. I think I was 20.
Yeah.
And I'm with all the cowboys over there, and we're waiting. And this Mercedes limo pulls up, and out gets this little Japanese guy. And he was with a gorgeous Japanese girl, just breathtakingly beautiful girl. But he was like, a guy in his 60s, little Japanese guy. And we were like, we're so disappointed. And then he went into his trailer, and when he dressed as samurai, he did the whole ritual, and the guy came out, and it was like Godzilla. I mean, he was like, holy shit! He wasn't taller, it was just his, he was in his, he was in his,
He put out a
samurai.
whole
Oh, he was great. Really great.
Man.
He was exciting.
So was there ever a time when you worked with someone kind of like in that situation where you see them and it's one thing and then they come out with their A game on and they just totally take
often.
you by surprise?
I mean, when people meet actors, one of the most common thing you have when you meet an actor is you're much smaller than I thought, or you're much taller than I thought. Rarely do they look like what you thought.
Yeah.
And it's just, I've been very lucky because I've worked with some really amazing. Person says, there is a fire in the lobby. Everyone must. No, I'm teasing.
I was gonna say we gotta cover that. Come on, let's go cover it. No. So now, when you met me, was I?
I gotta tell you, on television you look kind of twerpy and pathetic, but in real life you're one of the most attractive men I think I've ever met.
Well, thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now the interview's done.
Okay,
So,
I will take
fuck
that,
off.
and I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you
This
very
was a
much.
High
Go
point
away.
of